Okay, let's go ahead and get everything started. Once again, for those who just arrived, thank you for joining us today. My name is Roman Delino. I'm an account executive here at Qvinci Software, and I'm going to be taking you through an introduction to Qvinci for accountants, and how we can help you guys with staff collaboration, report automation, and overall just increased value. So the first question that comes to mind for most of our current clients and prospective clients is, what is Qvinci for accountants? Qvinci for accountants has actually really been an evolution for Qvinci as a company. A quick background on Qvinci. Qvinci was actually started originally in 2008 as a franchise reporting solution. Our core competency and where most of our intellectual property and patents lie is in the ability to take unlike charts of accounts and unlike pieces of software, automatically bring them together, normalize them, and provide consolidated, even gap consolidated financial reporting to those entities. Well, about 18 months ago, we were approached by some of our larger clients who were using us for consolidation, particularly in the accounting field, around a need. And that need was, with some other pieces of software sunsetting on the market right now, it seems to be a big hole, particularly in the cloud space, as it relates to quality financial reporting. And when I say quality financial reporting, I'm talking about a professional presentation, a packaged presentation, and something that you can confidently put in front of your clients and rely on a high level of accuracy. And so that really started this journey. And as of about a month ago at this point, Qvinci for Accountants has officially gone live. And what Qvinci for Accountants is it is essentially growth in our existing solution. Still offer class-leading consolidation for multiple unlike files. Still offer benchmarking. Still offer alerts and analysis. But on top of that, we've added some things with the aim of providing value directly to the accounting firm and the accountant or bookkeeper. Where does that start? Well, it starts with the Qvinci portal. The Qvinci portal essentially allows you to connect your clients to a single database and say, okay, this client has one accounting product, this one has a different one, and much like what you see with QuickBooks Online for Accountants, we give you, in a much more open platform, the ability to bring client data in, view your clients in a landscape view, create workflows, see financial data from a perspective that's quick, easy, with the objective of, enabling your people to understand exactly where each one of their clients are from a financial perspective, and potentially go after things like consulting services when they see a potential problem, or recognize issues that a client may have that would require normally minutes or hours poring over a financial report to see. So how do we get the information into Qvinci? Well, it starts with our sync solution. The sync solution is a combination of a couple of different pieces of technology in order to connect to a couple of different pieces of software. An example would be in any client that you have on QuickBooks Online, be them, they do class accounting or accounts simply by a single entity as a file. We can automatically, through an API, connect to their system, and on a daily basis at midnight, extract summary financial level data and have it reside on your portal for you to use, or even for you to provide to your clients to use on an on-demand basis. Now, if we're talking about QuickBooks Desktop, we have what's called an SDK sync app that will pull information from the various versions of QuickBooks Desktop, including American and Canadian, including unsupported versions, like all the way back to 2009, whether they're hosted or not, pull data automatically from QuickBooks Desktop as well, and allow you to provide your clients on desktop that experience that up until this point has either A, been limited by QuickBooks Online only offering QBOA, QuickBooks Online for Accountants, to the top two SKUs, and B, give them a unparalleled level of access to their financial data, whether it's from a tablet or a smartphone, without ever having to actually tap into an accounting file, which there sometimes is a cost component to that, and there's also, frankly, a risk component. So Zero is another example. One of the other pieces of software that we connect to operates very similar to QuickBooks Online in that there's a dedicated API. We bring information in automatically and have it reside within your portal in the reporting solution for consumption. So, what is next? It's report authoring. One of my clients who's in the top 10 accounting firms in the United States really lamented the amount of hours that her team was spending, well, frankly, just writing off, doing simple tasks, or what really should be simple tasks, when they were exporting financial reporting from QuickBooks Online. And their major issue was they couldn't get the alignments the way that they wanted them out of QuickBooks Online. The periods weren't exactly to their standards. Some simple formatting and styling issues that really was costing them as a firm a lot of money because they actually charge their clients on a value basis. And so every minute that you are utilizing that hasn't either been automated or optimized from an efficiency perspective on each individual client, A, cuts into your margins. B, takes away time that you need or your team needs to go out and really turn those clients into high-touch clients by having those deeper conversations that hopefully will lead to more opportunities for your firm. Things like outsourced accounting fully, things like advisory services. So the objective with our report authoring solution is to give you that professional quality report that you're comfortable putting in front of your client, but to do it on an automatic basis. So, and then lastly, it's packaging and publishing. Packaging and publishing is, one of the real, what I consider special sauce items behind Qvinci for accountants. And what packaging and publishing does is it allows you to say, okay, instead of having to create a bunch of memorized reports within QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop for each one of these clients, and then every month I have to go through and download them to Excel and then make some changes and then put them into some sort of PDF writing solution. What we do is this. We understand that, and this doesn't apply across the board under any circumstances, but most firms have a financial statement or financial reporting package that they provide their clients on some sort of iteration, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, whether it's weekly in some cases, that exists as their standard. It consists of a cover letter, a table of contents if you so desire, and some comparative P&Ls, maybe a comparative balance sheet, a statement of cash flow, so on and so forth. And the beauty behind packaging and publishing within Qvinci is when you tie it with the sync solution, when you tie it with report authoring, what we deliver to you is the ability to create or author reports as templates for your firm and say, okay, this is our standard format with, bolding here and indentation there and, a specific title header and specific footer. This is our standard format P&L. Well, you can make all of those changes and make a group of those, standard template reports. And then you create a package. And that package, you can then publish across every single client that you need to. With the value to you is instead of having your associates or your employees or other colleagues at your firm spending time going through and doing the manual piece to this whole work effort, it simply resides in Qvinci. They open up the client, they go to their package library, they download the package. All the formatting changes that you've created in your template will carry over, and the new client's data will insert itself into the chart of accounts, and you're off and running. And so really automating the lion's share of the work involved in financial reporting. So what does Qvinci for accountants do in summary? We sync data from accounting software automatically. Those platforms are QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, every version of it back to 2009, QuickBooks Online by class, QuickBooks Desktop by class, Xero, MYOB, and additionally Excel if you have some users that are on some other platform, i.e. FreshBooks or Sage. We coordinate your staff across all clients using the Qvinci portal. I'm going to show you guys in a minute what the portal looks like and give you an idea of how you may be able to use it, and also show you some of the reporting functionality. But you will see that the ability to say, okay, John Doe is responsible for these 20 clients, Jane Doe is responsible for these 20 clients, and they overlap with these 10 clients for different activities or functions. Well, instead of having your people sending emails back and forth to simply communicate where a particular client's at or what needs to happen for a particular client, they can update their Qvinci portal with notes and with a task list that makes it very, very clear. If I work with 500 clients, which I'm exaggerating, but you see where I'm going, and my sole function responsibility is receiving invoices and inputting invoices and journal entries, then I can open up my portal and in however many clients I have access to within the portal, drop a filter on the activities that I cover that need to happen, and I'll see a work list that tells me exactly who needs my attention right now. Create reporting templates, including consolidation and KPI reports. So I'd mentioned the ability to style and author reports earlier, but don't forget, as part of being a firm of the future, as Boomer Consulting likes to put it, or really being on the cutting edge, like a lot of our QuickBooks Online firm partners are. The other key piece to really maximizing the value to your clients and adding value as a trusted advisor is not just simply giving them financial reporting. It's giving them information that they can focus on that will derive action. Because not every client is going to sit there and pore over a P&L and a balance sheet as much as we as financial and accounting professionals would like them to. Most of the time, what I hear from the clients that I work with, the actual end users, you know what, I just need to know 10 items. Give me 10 items that matter. And within Qvinci's customization, you can do that and do it fairly easily and set it up once instead of having to do it in Excel every week or every month. Set it up once, save it, and then when you roll into next month, since we're actively syncing data in the background, you open that report, it requeries our database, we pull the fresh data in, make the necessary changes automatically, and there you have it. You have a tabular KPI that can give you more and deeper insights than, for instance, the widgetry KPIs that some of our competitors really push. So, style reports and documents per your standard, and your standard, in my opinion, is the key statement here. There are a lot of clients that the sole activity that they see or interaction that they have with their accounting firm is when they receive their financial statements on a monthly basis, and then when they do a review on a quarterly basis. I can't stress enough, when you're putting those reports in front of your client, that they need to be part of your brand. And your brand should directly represent the values and the standards of your firm. And when you're doing so in a non-attractive, non-professional, and clean presentation format, it leads those who maybe don't deal with you on a high-frequency basis to think, maybe, why am I even receiving this? So, and then lastly, assemble, share, and publish auto-updating packages for all clients. This is the key efficiency piece. Now, when we say this, it doesn't mean that you can only publish across all clients. There's absolutely nothing that says that you can't save customized reporting templates for individual clients based on their needs. What I would suggest is make the stylistic changes and create the templates that you need on a global basis. And then if there's a client that has a specific need or you want to write a specific KPI into their package, you simply open that reporting package, click Save As with that client open, make the necessary changes that you need to that particular reporting package for that particular client, and just don't share it because it's really only pertinent to that specific client. But once again, the lion's share of the styling and necessary work that would have to happen on a repetitive basis will already be taken care of for you. So, I'm going to bring over the Qvinci application. So as mentioned before, Qvinci is actually a cloud-based solution. So that means that even clients that are on some sort of desktop application, like let's just say QuickBooks Enterprise 2013, okay? Even clients that are in that situation can have access, and you can have access to this type of information. So when you log in, what I'm showing you here is the Qvinci portal. The Qvinci portal gives you that landscape view that I had mentioned earlier of your clients stacked on top of each other with a bunch of different pieces of information. With the idea of allowing you to see what you need to see and see it very quickly so that you can get back to whatever it is your business objective aligns with. So in this case, I've got 3 clients. Even though I've got 4 rows, 3 clients that consists of an auto body shop, a coffee shop that is actually 2 different files because they have 2 different locations, and a diocesan client. Okay. Now over here to the right, you'll see reporting entity. What Qvinci defines as an entity is the source itself, the actual where the reporting comes from. So in this case, I've got 1 file because this is a individual client with 1 file. I've also got 1 client but 2 files. And then of course another example of a senior with a combination of QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, and 0. And from this information, what do we give you? Well, we give you things like customized workflows. This is something that you define to us. So tell us what is important for you to know whenever you log into a specific client from an activity perspective. Do we need to meet with the client? If I update this to meet with client and I'm a bookkeeper, when the accountant that's responsible for this particular client logs in, they're going to see this as the next necessary activity for this client. And the idea is to build that activity list and to really simplify the communication and collaboration within your team so that everybody knows where everyone else is, for lack of a better way of putting it. So in the example I gave you earlier, I said, what if my sole job is to meet with clients? And I needed to figure out of my list of 50 clients which ones need my attention right now. Well, I can come up here and drop a filter in and simply say, and there we go. I've got a task list built for myself that I can simply run through and knock down. And as I move people off this task list, they remove from my list. So the idea is to really clean up from an efficiency perspective any activity or workflow, but to do it in one place. I know there's a lot of workflow management systems out there, but they tend to be a little cumbersome for the basic types of workflows that outsourced accounting professionals tend to need. And so this can be a great way to overcome some of that stuff without a bunch of manual communication. We then give you how fresh your data is. When is the last time we pulled information from the QuickBooks file or the 0 file or whatever? And then from there, we get into the reporting information. And this is pretty unique to Qvinci, being that we're giving you the ability to see high-level reporting data in one place from unlike sources. Those of you who've worked with Sage before are probably familiar with Sage View. This is kind of similar to Sage View, but the big difference is we're not limiting you to what is typically considered a fairly niche piece of software, and that we're allowing you to use basically the small business accounting software that comprises 90+% of the American, American or American overall, including Canada and Mexico markets. And the value to you is we give you AR, we give you AP. You know the cash stance of your particular client on a by entity basis. You can add value to your client by keeping track of their current quick ratios and debt to equity ratio, or percentage rather, which is something that I found that a lot of end users, unless they're a little bit more sophisticated and are running off of their balance sheet, a lot of users don't really understand what a lot of this means. And if you can help them with that, it's a great way to add value and build that long-lasting trusted advisor relationship with your client. So from here, we get into the financial statement items and the performance items. How did we perform last month against the same month in the previous fiscal period, in this case on a monthly basis? How are we performing current year to date versus last fiscal year to date? And when you see these, we've got a couple of very clear issues here. These guys are right where they need to be. I mean, we're up 72%. In this case, we're down 47% or 100%. When I'm looking at this, I can pretty quickly ascertain, chances are they probably actually did book some revenue last month, but my money would say we're falling a little bit behind on processing some of our AR. So once again, can be a great way to track where things are at with a client. And if I saw this, I would jump in here and put something like that. And when I update that, it will show up in the notes field that I have set here. And whomever is responsible for doing this will take that down as a task. So now past that, down here we've got one that's down 47%. Looks like we have booked some revenue, but it's substantially less than what we had last year. So the question I would ask is why? Well, if you click on this number, as with any of the reporting data that we're showing you, you drill straight into the report that's coming from that particular entity that data is derived from. And you may see some useful insights. It may be that they've got a line of business that's just down. It could very well be that there's some environmental factors that need to be either brought up or recognized. And if they need to be brought up and recognized, the question that I would ask a client is, okay, we know we were down last month. What are we doing? And this is obviously a very brief P&L, but what are we doing here down to make sure that this isn't a problem? Is there anything that we can do to manage this so that either we're minimizing the potential risk long-term to the company for, by having a bad month and continuing to overspend, or do we need to go ahead and spend more in order to raise this number? Those are some of the management type decisions and information that you can provide to your client and really demonstrate a level of understanding in their business, and once again realize some additional opportunities for your practice. So this is the Qvinci portal in a nutshell. What I do want to call out is if you've got you can only see who you've got permission to see here. So I can have a team lead permission set that says I can see every single client in this firm. But I can also be a team lead and have an accountant under me that really only needs access to 20 or 30 clients. And so when they log in, each individual user gets their own experience. So if, for instance, last sync is unimportant to me because I just don't care how fresh my data is. I couldn't imagine that would ever be the case for you. And I want to get rid of it, I can simply click it off and it's not there. When I save this, when I log in next time, I'll have my own little unique experience. Or if I want current ratio to be at the front end of my report, just as a for instance, or ratios as a whole, then I can do so. Okay? And save that layout, and that layout will be specific for me, including adding custom filters and things like that. So some other value that Qvinci delivers, I'm going to cover this pretty quickly because these exist in our legacy solution as well. So, and we've covered them in detail in previous webinars. But as always, Qvinci does provide our fixed widget financial dashboard for clients. What really makes this dashboard special is it summarizes data for you very quick, in a very easy to understand format. But it also has the ability to provide consolidation. And so in this case, in coffee shops, I told you earlier we have 2 locations in coffee shops. This is actually a consolidated widget for both locations. If I want to turn one off, I can simply filter down to whichever one I'd like to see, and bang, there we go. This is something that you can put in front of your clients as added value at no additional cost. Your clients will never see portal, but you can give them dashboard, you can give them the customized flexible reporting if you so choose. It's really at your option as the accounting professional. So when we get into reporting, and this covers some of the new ads that we have in Qvinci for accountants, as always, we give you a profit and loss, we give you a balance sheet, statement of cash flow, profit and loss weekly. We offer peer benchmarking and ranking, which are really key features if you have a large consolidation environment. Think of if you're working with like a franchise that has 30 locations in it, or 100 or 1,000 or whatever. Then it can be a great way to offer your client internal benchmarking. Now, it's inward looking. We're not pulling industry benchmarks. We're benchmarking the locations within this particular client or company. So how do we get to the customized reporting piece? Now that we ran over what we offer as a reporting options. If I was going to run a customized report, okay, like say I wanted to do a period over period with a variance side by side, and it's something I wanted to publish across multiple users. And I'm going to give you a high level example here. So when we're creating a template, it operates a little bit differently than this, but this is something that we will actually help you with as we get you running and started. So the first step is to create the report and memorize the report. And then we drop into a user interface that I would bet looks fairly familiar. It's very similar to Excel, which is the way a lot of the clients that we work with currently handle the customizations that they need to build in to satisfy the needs of their clients. So if I know that I need to add a variance column over here, I can simply type in variance. I know that variance really equals that divided by that minus 1, because I'm looking for change, not necessarily division. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, these aren't percentages. Just like you would do in Excel, you can come up here, click it into a percentage, memorize and save this report. And what you wind up with is a report that will update as you progress. So, and keep in mind, this is a high-level example, but this says January and November right now. Well, when we roll into December, we're going to have new data. And that new data will, once this has been created as a template, will insert itself into this template and give you exactly what we're talking about, year to date, period over period, and that is agnostic. So in December, we add December's data. You can come in here and do things like this. I can bold this and underline it. I can decide that I want all of my financial information to be a currency, if you will. You can even come in here and delete things and customize this to a degree that is really tough to do even in Excel. Because say I really don't care about most of my expenses, but I want to correctly reflect my total expenses, and I want to focus on these items down here. If I delete this, even though deleting that information should impact this number, the way our system works, it will not. So you still have complete data everywhere you look. So you can take it steps further and insert KPIs that are multiplying or dividing rows or columns against one another so that you can generate something that really means something to your clients and does it in a very clear and concise format. But once you get the report where you want it, you can save it. And provided that you built it like a template, what can happen is this. You create a report, your report matters for that client. You create a template. Bear with me for a second. And you can come over here and click share. And when you share that template, you're going to be able to come up here and make a change from Coffee Shops Unlimited to John's Automotive, export the package, and it's going to automatically update with John's Automotive's information, but with the changes that we set up originally as part of our template. I'll give you an example. The first step to creating a package is adding the customized reports that you would like, or memorizing them, and then adding the documents that you want to add to it, whether it's a cover letter, whether it's a table of contents, but that's the general idea. And then you come into your package library, and you can either create a new package that could be a combination of reports that have been shared with you or templates that have been shared with you, or even documents that have been shared with you. And then you simply define to us what you want in your package, name and save it. And what the output ends up looking like is something along these lines. Right now we have Coffee Shops Unlimited open, and this is a very basic version, but it gives you an illustration of what it can look like. And I have a cover letter along with a formatted P&L. Grab a better example there. And I have basically a formatted P&L that has my coffee house's chart of accounts with all of the necessary changes I'm looking for built into the system. Okay? Now let's just, for argument's sake, and this is demonstrative of how this works, if I come up here and switch to John's Automotive. and then go back to my package, and download the package. What happens? Well, the changes that we created in that very basic package will persist in this package, but it inserts all of the information from the chart of accounts for our automotive client with the same rules. So that is report authoring, report publishing, as well as having our portal layered over the top of it. So from a value perspective, our key objectives are to help you recover billable hours, to automate your client reporting, and to optimize overall firm efficiencies. And some key takeaways here: publish automatically updating PDFs and style all your reports. Save hours spent publishing reports for every client, and eliminate redundancy from your workflow. And then, last but not least, collect client financial data from even disparate physical regions, and bring it together and really help you drill down on a client basis into your reporting. So how do you get there? What is the process? Well, the first process when you decide to go on the Qvinci journey is to add staff to your portal. Essentially, you talk to myself, you talk to a member of my team, and we will help you get set up with an account within Qvinci. We're going to ask you for, give me all of your users. And, one thing that's key to call out here, users are free. We don't charge you for user CALs or licenses like a lot of software systems do. And so we license entities themselves. And at that point, if there's somebody that has a need to know, you can very easily provide them that information that they need to know with no additional impact to your cost. So add staff to the portal. Add the client names to the account. Basically create the entities that we're going to be linking with so that we have somewhere to put the financial data as it comes into Qvinci. Then it's going to be link and sync your client files. This process is done a couple of different ways. Anybody who's ever attached to one of the cloud-based systems like QuickBooks Online knows that it takes about 20 seconds to link an individual location to a third-party piece of software. And you can actually do it from inside of Qvinci. You simply say, I want to link to QuickBooks Online. We port you over to the QBO login screen. You log in, click I authorize, and you're done. The same goes for Xero. And with folks who are on QuickBooks Desktop, we actually install a Qvinci Sync app on their desktop and can walk them through the actual setup process as part of our implementation service. And it takes maybe 3 to 5 minutes on a per location basis or per entity basis. Next steps, create report templates. There is a little bit of training that I would suggest anytime you're looking to start creating publishable templates. And whenever we're doing this, part of our standard onboarding service package includes 2 two-hour training sessions for a fee, but it's that you can have up to 4 users as part of that session, and it's very much a power user / train the trainer approach, so that there's a group of people within your organization that are comfortable and competent with the full capabilities and usability of Qvinci. And then, of course, we always provide ongoing support on a Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 7:30, or 7:30 to 6:30 rather, central basis. We allow you to style reports. So if you want to style a report and make it your own, really, slap it with your brand. This is the part where the rubber hits the road. You create the template. You basically brand the templates, if you will, with your formatting and styling. And then you publish reports. And after that, with the exception of clients that have very special needs, the objective is to make this, to a degree, a set it and forget it reporting environment for QuickBooks Online, for QuickBooks Desktop, and for Xero as well. So from a breakdown perspective, we've got 2 different license types. We offer Qvinci Enterprise which is the full Qvinci suite, including integration access if you have the ability to integrate. It's unlimited in file count. It allows for templating, publishing, and styling, and most importantly, and the biggest differentiation, it has the original Qvinci consolidation solution built into the back end of it. And so if you have clients that need consolidation, they need benchmarking, then the Qvinci Enterprise is where you would need to be. Now, anytime you have clients that do not need consolidation, you simply want to automate reporting and help them with, provisioning a dashboard and just really adding value to them as an individual user. The Qvinci Advisor SKU is perfect for that type of individual, and there's absolutely no reason you can't mix both licenses within one environment. In fact, I would say most of the current clients we are working with have some combination of both of them. And we license on a per entity basis. So the Qvinci Advisor SKU, that means one reporting entity, so one file or one class for one client. We bring that information in, we give you all the value that Advisor has to offer, and it only costs you $9.95 per entity or per client, depending on how you want to look at it for Advisor, per month. Now, when we get into enterprise, more often than not, you have clients that have, and you should have, clients with multiple entities on a per client basis. I gave you an example of a franchise earlier. If I work with a franchise that has 35 locations and 35 accounting files, then each one of those accounting files is an entity, and therefore would require a Qvinci license for us to perform consolidation. And on an entity basis, with Qvinci Enterprise, it's $19.95 per month. So that takes us through Qvinci for Accountants, and it really, I hope, illustrated to you the value that we are delivering and aim to continue to deliver to all of our both accounting and franchise clients over the course of now and in the future. I do want to open the floor up for questions, if anybody has any questions. And if not, always feel free to reach out to us on the information through the information on the screen. If you'd prefer to, have a more candid conversation or potentially get a more detailed demonstration, and myself or my team would be glad to work with you. All right. Well, it looks like we don't have any questions for today, so that typically means we covered everything. So we wanted to tell everybody thank you for attending, and I really hope that you reach out to our team here and have a one-on-one discussion and let us find out if this thing would be a good fit for your needs, and take you through the full Qvinci for Accountants at its fullest. So hope everyone has a great day, and thanks again from the team here at Qvinci.